Good morning, everyone. So those of you that were in the 93108 zip code have some issues this morning with the power. So it was a little bit of touch and go whether or not we were going to, let's see, Santa Leanne to Santa Barbara, me stay home, try to work my home computer. But it all came back up, so that's a good thing. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I did. It was nice, quiet weekend. Saw a few trick-or-treaters out there, some cute little kids. So anyway, so we have kind of a full agenda today. Thought we would talk a little bit about multiple offers, since we're seeing those quite a bit, probably a little bit late on that one, but I think we can still, kind of learn or figure out what everybody's doing in regards to that. And I hope some of you will share some of your experiences with it so that we can hear firsthand what you guys are doing out there about it. So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to just go ahead and do the my CAR report, even though I don't think everybody's on the call yet or still coming on, because I'll send that out to you as well. I'll send you some notes in regards to that so that you have it. But it was an interesting report, and some of it got a little political, and so only because CAR is looking out for property rights, and so they are a little bit concerned about some of the propositions that they didn't think would make it. But anyway, I'll get to that in a second. So the economic forecast was given for the third quarter for California, and the GDP is up 33.1%, which is a good sign. It's I think it's month over month, it's up about 9%, but for the third quarter compared to last year third quarter, it's up 33.1%. The report is that housing market continues to be the bright spot in California as well as in the nation. And in California, for the third quarter reporting, the median price is up 11.6% from last year, from the third quarter of last year, and with 3.3% sales increase. And of course, that's all of California. So it was all good news there. I will send you the link to the the full report, which they always send me. So I'll send you that. So Sanjay and Joel. Sanjay is he reports. He's actually our legislator who goes to Sacramento and either helps decide or interprets different laws that are out there that in regards to whether or not they're real estate related. So some things come up and they're not real estate related, and so CAR doesn't really have an issue with those, or doesn't really comment on those. They may have an issue, but they don't comment. So anyway, so their report, it was a little bit mixed and a little bit interesting. One thing they did say was, and then Joel, of course, Joel Singer is the executive officer of CAR. So they basically said that the reason we're seeing the DRE coming out with all of their possible violations, training, things like that, is because the California Health Department is putting pressure on the DRE to do this. So they want them to be responsible for the agents out there that are not going according to the COVID guidelines. So that kind of makes sense why all of a sudden the DRE has, designated certain officers and to take on what's going on out there. You know, Joel said, it would have to be something pretty blatant. Um, Although I don't know, it's kind of interesting. If someone, if let's say you have a listing and you know that they had COVID and you don't tell anybody, and you just let people come in and view the property. So that would certainly, and if someone obviously turns you in or found out about it, that certainly would be something that the DRE would do something about. And they've got all kinds of, I mean, it goes all the way up to some pretty serious violations to actually suspending or losing your license and things like that. So they talked a little bit about Proposition 19, which is the tax base. I believe we discussed it a couple weeks ago. And this is tied to, opening up all the counties so that there would be more cross, you'd be able to take your tax base if you were 55 and over the one time that you're allowed to across county lines. And they said that one is actually looking pretty good and they're hoping it will pass. It was kind of interesting. They both talked like I don't know if they have some in with the voting registrar or something, because they seem to know that a lot of young people have voted already. This was Friday, and that young people are coming out and voting very, very heavily. And that actually older people are voting a lot, are coming out and voting as well. But the younger people are definitely leading the pack there. Proposition 15, which is the tax increases, which they have been definitely not in favor of, they are fearful that will pass. And it has and I think it has a lot to do with the with the younger people. They just don't get it. They're probably just not concerned with it, and so they may just think that it's something that will maybe help them. I don't know. That was sort of Joel's comment on that. Anyway, whether you are a Democrat or a Republican, I think what I came away from with both Sanjay and Joel is that we're already a blue state, but they talked about the fact that they're probably I think there's 7 seats up for Republicans, and they're just not hopeful that any of those Republicans will get in throughout the state. So, I think their point was, there's just not any, pushback or anything when something comes to the floor, or a new proposition or a new bill. And Joel basically said, anything that comes out of the San Francisco area gets passed. And I was like, whoa, that's interesting. So anyway, so with that, the one thing I do want to say is that it's so important to vote, and I'm sure all of you have, but if you haven't, our local is really, really important. I think, especially in California, to get the right people in there who care about our community. And so if you haven't voted, please, and you might want to make sure you drop it in a box rather than mailing it at this point, is what I've heard. So anyway, just a quick reminder on that. So the rest of the CAR report, I'll just go through really quickly. These are, these are different things. These are not all COVID related, yay. These are just questions that come up, and Gov answers them. And again, Gov Hutchinson is is one of the lead attorneys at CAR, for those of you that don't know. So in regards to this is a question he got from a broker. Buyer and seller sign the counteroffers, but the seller never signs the RPA. And Gov says you have a deal, because the intent was that he was agreeing to all of the whatever was in the purchase agreement as well. Gov obviously says, get it signed if you can, do your best. But sometimes sellers get a little obstinate, think they don't have to, or they don't want to, or they think it's going to get them out of the transaction. Obviously, anything can be challenged, but in his opinion, the intent was to accept the RPA as well. So if a property has an ADU, so you have your residence and you have an ADU now, the question came up, what form do you use if you're making an offer? And he said just to use the RPA. That was the one that he suggested. Talked a little bit about rentals, which he always has to touch on. Landlords should not require driver's license as a form of identification, mainly because it could be construed as being discriminatory. So try to figure out another way of getting, if you do use driver's license. I'm not sure a lot of people do, but so one thing that is a protected class right now is a source of income. So it's best to require a certain amount of income and treat everybody the same. So I don't know, I'll go really drastically. Somebody makes a living by selling drugs. I don't know. I guess you can't discriminate against them as long as they have the money. Anyway, go figure. So the other one that was kind of interesting, as of this year, you cannot discriminate against military status. So of course, the first thing you think of is, why would anybody discriminate against military status? But it has to do with the VA loan. So because that loan is more restrictive on the seller, it requires, when the appraiser goes in and finds things wrong, requires the seller to fix things, and sometimes they take a little bit longer. But you cannot discriminate because of a VA loan. So again, it seems like every week this comes up: no door-to-door soliciting. So period, no, whether the question this time was like, well, if the house isn't listed, can I go and go door to door? And it's still absolutely not. And they even had a question for a DRE officer, and his answer was no. Please, we don't want any paper. They don't want to see any paper for whatever reason. Can a seller refuse a showing with someone's dog or animal? And Gov says yes, unless the animal is a service animal. So if somebody wants to bring their horse with them to look at the property, you can say, yeah, no, can't bring your horse with you. And if Erin's on the call, she can't bring her little pig with her either. Unless she can prove it's a service animal. So let's see, I think that might have been it. Oh, no. So just to remind you, if you're showing a lockbox property, okay, you as the buyer's agent are responsible for disinfecting when you leave. And I haven't heard about us having any issues here, although there was one right at the beginning of COVID with a condominium complex, I recall, where one of our agents got, I don't know, yelled at or something. But so in condo complexes especially, those people are watching the agents and hanging out and not liking the fact when something is vacant that they can go in and out and in and out. So anyway, just to remind you, that is your responsibility if you show a lockbox vacant property. Right now, NAR is working on personal social media. Someone said, well, wait a second, if it's your personal Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever you're on, that would seem like it would be a violation of the First Amendment, of your First Amendment rights. And so NAR, CAR is saying no. They have NAR, CAR have a right, and your local association have a right to reprimand you, give you a violation, whatever they want to do, because you are a member of their trade association. So you have agreed to go according to their guidelines. So apparently, I think NAR is going on possibly this week. So there'll be a lot of discussion in regards to that.
Renee, Allison just asked a question that's a good question. If there is a lockbox on a listing that is not vacant, what is our responsibility?
If it's lockbox by appointment,
but the property's not vacant.
Right. It's your response. If the listing agent doesn't show up and you agree to show it without the listing agent there, then it's your responsibility to disinfect it. I mean, it would be nice, hopefully they'll have something there for you to clean, to wipe down handles and doorknobs and things like that possibly your client touched. But it is your responsibility whether or not it's vacant or occupied. If the listing agent doesn't show up. Was that it? Anything else on that subject? Okay. No. All right. So I did email you. Do you remember we have these little cards that we made up for everyone. It was the Be Kind. We did this actually before COVID. This came out of well, if you recall, was Lady Gaga started this Be Kind, and you come up with 21, little sayings. So we took some of these, and then we, Leanne and I, thought about how you guys are out there in the field and as agents and what you're going through and all of that. So we came up with 21 agent acts of kindness, which you will all get a copy of. We'll also put it on the hub, but there it is. And so I thought I would just read them really, really, really quickly. Number 1, send a random kind message to a coworker. Give new agents time and understanding. Remember, we were all new at one point. Be happy for your successful peers. I'm a firm believer that when you are happy for someone else, it will bring success to you. So that one I think is important. Say thank you to our marketing and staff members for their service to you. And I know all of you do that you're really good about that. And then had to throw this in, be respectful to your TC by submitting complete files, and of course not at the last minute. Do a favor without asking for anything in return. Look for the good in each other. Perform random acts of kindness just because you can. And I know during these particular times, this is something that I think we need to do and is appreciated when we do it. always take time to listen to others without having an agenda. You know, sometimes someone, you can just sort of tell, you know, they just need to talk, or they need to tell a little story about something. And, you know, sometimes we're in a hurry and don't take the time to listen. This one's super important, obviously, for all of us. Remember that we are a family and we are there for one another. And I mean, I almost didn't have to put that one in there, but there it is. Take time to know your client's needs. Super important. Compliment the agent you're working with, even if they're a stinker. You know, sometimes that'll just throw them off balance, and why not? Don't be quick to judge. You know, I think, gosh, I certainly can be guilty of that one. I just have to, you know, I tell everybody else, we'll just count to 10 and then see what comes of it. And but still, probably judging is something we shouldn't even bother doing. Return calls, emails, and text messages as promptly as possible. Be patient, knowing that there is an end in sight. And that's typically when you're in a difficult transaction. Interject humor to lighten the mood in a difficult situation. I was sharing with Leanne that I have this business group that I belong to, and we got together for the first time since before COVID, and we were 6 feet apart, and had our masks on, and we were anyway when we were outside, and so they were just all Debbie Downers, and so my humor wasn't getting anywhere, but I didn't care. I just kept making jokes and whatever. I'll probably get voted off. We'll see. Be responsible for the energy you bring to your transaction. You know, it's just good energy works. It just does. Get involved in a nonprofit and give back to your community. That always feels good. We know that. Send notes to your sphere of influence, letting them know you care. You know, just letting them know you care. And speak kindly of others and stand up for others when they are not present. Sometimes that can be a hard one to do, but, you know, sometimes maybe just saying, you know, I just don't want to go there right now is enough than to just, you know, or walk away. Anyway, and we found this, it was an anonymous on the internet. I believe we are all connected, and kindness is the voice that softly says, I see you, I honor you, and you are not alone. So anyway, that'll be, we'll send you all a copy, right, Leanne?
Yes.
Yeah, and then and we'll put it up on the hub. So anyway, let's see. So the next thing I will, okay, so let's go to the agenda, because my order here is we'll do the agenda, and then I want to just talk a little bit about requests for repairs, which was attached to your agenda, and then we'll talk about multiple offers at the end. So let's see. First of all, thank you, Jeff, for your Teachers Fund donation. And our outgoing referrals, Jan and Julie, Jan to Bakersfield and Julie to Oregon. And we'll talk about our training after we go through the agenda. So we'll unmute you if you're on the call. If you're not on the call, which I have a feeling Wayne Natali is not, if anybody else knows about this and can comment, please do. So Wayne Natali has a new listing at 3650 baseline for $2,000,009. Anyone know about that one? Okay, we'll check with Wayne on that. John, are you on the call for Emerson?
Yes.
Hi.
So, hi. 2393 Emerson is a a nice contemporary Cape Cod, 2 stories, and super clean. And we had 2 showings over the week, and it's in escrow. So,
Oh,
yeah,
quick.
I hate wasting time these days.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, if anyone has anyone that is interested, it's still very young, so we're still
Right.
showing it.
Okay,
That's
perfect.
it.
Thank you,
Thank
John.
you. Thank you.
Greg, 2976 Glen Albin, are you
He
here,
is.
Greg?
Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hello.
Yes.
This is a little sweet house off of Foothill, probably by 4 or 5 properties, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. There is a half bath in the garage with permits. It's priced with a couple issues. One, retaining wall could potentially need to be replaced, and we priced it accordingly. But good value, remodeled kitchen, and some views, but not of the ocean over San Roque. You do get a little bit of island view, but good property, should sell soon. We're putting it in multiple, probably soon after the meeting, and first showings will be tomorrow. If we get offers, they'll be reviewed on Friday.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Greg. Jeff has a new listing at 333 Old Mill Road for $419. Simi, Orchard Park. I think you might have chatted about this last week. Are you there though? Did you want to say something
Yes,
about
thank you. We did have it open this weekend by appointment. It's a beautifully remodeled 4-bed, 2.5-bath home in the Orchard Park development, which consists of 20 homes. They've got a lovely pool and an orchard that wraps around the property. So I am expecting offers. They are due Tuesday by 5. They're being reviewed. So again, we also have time if anyone would like to see it.
Perfect. Thank you, Simi. Riskin Partners have a new listing at 780 Riven Rock for $12.5 million. Don't think anybody's on the call today. 2228 State Street with Cara and Aaron. Hi, Cara.
Hi there. Yeah, thank you. We're excited about this one. It's going to hit MLS on Wednesday, so keep it quiet in Village until then. This is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home on State. Don't let the address fool you. It's located just below Pueblo, but it is super private. There's a private lane you access off of Pueblo, and the front door, the driveway, the garage, everything orients to that private lane. It's all fenced, really pretty garden gates. You can't really even see State from the house, so it's very private. It's closed up and secure for pets and for kids, and a very pretty house overall, just over 1,700 square feet. It's all single level. It's got a nice big entertaining deck, really cute, beautifully landscaped yard with a chicken coop. And they just did all new plank flooring. They've got cathedral ceilings, open kitchen, remodeled bathrooms. Really a great value, and it's in Roosevelt School District. So we'll be coming on Wednesday. We've got sequential showing set up for Saturday and Sunday. So if you have clients interested, give us a call and we'll get you on that schedule.
Perfect. Thank you. Sounds delightful. All right. And I think Justin's going to talk about 1049 Tunnel Road for Bill, $2,895,000.
Yes, absolutely. Good morning.
Good morning.
So 1049 Tunnel Road is on 1 acre. It's a 4-bedroom plus office, 3 full bath. It's got ocean views, island views, mountain views, Spanish style. The architect is Fadim Shu. It's got a 3-car garage. It feels very private up there. The price is $2,895. It will be in MLS soon, and it can be shown now. So reach out to Bill with any questions. He's out of town, but you can connect with him. And if you want to show it, I can make arrangements. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Justin. Carrie has a new listing at 4465 White Pine, $4,950,000. Carrie, are you on the call?
Yes. Carrie's unmuted. I'm not sure why we're not hearing him.
Okay. All right. Well, we can, if he chimes in, we'll put him on. Any other new listings that we missed?
I have 4455A Carpinteria Avenue, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, single car garage. It's the Beach Grove development. It's on the section where you have like 9 units, so it's not in the huge complex where the pool is. Listed at $825. It is vacant. I have photographs that I took this weekend, which I could send out if you need to see it immediately, but need to get the professional things all set up. Super clean, ready to move in. It's been a great rental for the owner for a period of time. The other thing I have is looking for a tenant on a really sweet property located at 125 East Islay, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, super charming, great walking distance. That's at $4,500 a month if you have any clients that are looking for a great downtown location. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Cindy. Anyone else with the new listing that we missed? Or they got over the weekend or this morning?
Allison says she wants to talk about 25 Santa Teresita.
Sure. Go ahead, Allison.
Yeah, I was unable to be on the meeting last week, but want everyone to know that 25 Santa Teresita can be shown this weekend for the first time. It's a 4,000 square foot home, wooden glass. It needs some work. It was built in 1979, still a vintage 1979 for the most part, but it's on 13 acres. And there's 1,500 avocado trees. I sent an email about this, but this is the first time we can show with the tenants. Photography and so on will be next week, and it won't go into MLS until January. So I do have some limited time here before Thanksgiving that I could show it. But it's a great house with views of the ocean off one side and the mountains off the other. And the avocados are just a great bonus, which can bring in over 100,000 a year due to the number of trees. So let me know if you would like to show it this weekend. Thanks.
What was the price again?
Oh, I'm sorry. Price is $2,795,000.
Okay. And let me clarify, it's not going into MLS. Is it going into coming soon or at all? Or should we just keep it within Village?
Just within Village
Okay.
until January. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Sure. All right. Moving on, we have a couple of
Carrie
price.
just messaged that his listing on White Pine and Woodstock Ranches is very special and unusual. Helipad, very high-end finishes throughout, spectacular views and vistas if you have someone with a helicopter.
Wow, that's hard to get, a helicopter pad.
Renee, it's Natalie. Can you hear
Hi.
me? Hi.
Yes.
I just wanted to mention it's under sales, but it's unfortunately back on the market. 1620 Pieris on the Mesa, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, $1,595,000. So I just wanted to mention, since we don't have a lot of listings to sell, somebody can sell that again. So
Absolutely. Thank you. And we have a couple price changes. 5970 Encina and 2225 Las Tunas. And Tiari, her Clearview is back on the market as well. So you have Natalie's Pieris and Clearview back on the market for you to another new opportunities. Okay, let's go on to our sales. Congratulations to Connie on Alamo Pintado, Simi on Cambridge with multiple offers. Wow, that's great, Simi. Celine Drive with Faraday, Vivian Chino with multiple offers. We know Tiari's listing at Clearview is back on the market. Elizabeth, sale at West Constance, congratulations. Jeff, Cuervo Road, yay. Connie, on Fir Avenue, not in MLS. Let's see, Justin, congratulations on Golden Gate. Tiffany and Kathy on Highland Drive. Kristen and Amy on Kenwood Road. Let's see, were you going to give us a price on that? I think Amy might be giving us a price in the chat. Vicky
It's
and
not in the
Jenna.
MLS and no multiple offers, she said.
Oh, it was not in MLS. Okay. So we're not going to know until it closes. Vicky and Jenna on Macaw, congratulations. Bob on East Mitchell Terrena. Elise and Ruth Ann on Miramonte. And of course, Natalie's Pieris is back on the market. Kelly and Michelle on San Federico, congratulations. Vivian on San Marcos Road with multiple offers as well. Anna and Lila on Seaward, North Seaward. Aaron Gillis on Sheffield, not in MLS. And Michelle on Viborg with multiple offers. Are there any sales that we missed that anybody wants to report? Okay. So our closings for this week, congratulations. Another great week of closings. So congratulations to Carrie on 801 East Highway 246. That was 48 acres, 2 properties combined. Grub Campbell on Banner Avenue. That was the little B&B, I guess, or it's called the Hummingbird Inn, I think. Elizabeth on Calabria, congratulations. Grub Campbell on Ladera Lane. Carrie Kendall on Lillibay Court. Ruth Ann on Morton Bay. Elizabeth on Palisades Drive. Jeff on Pepperdine Court. John Sainer on Porlamore Circle. Michelle on Samantha Drive. Sheila and Mark on Summerlin Heights Lane. John Sainer on West Valerio. Wow, look at the closing on Valley Club, 2 million over asking. Wow, congratulations to Jeff. That I know that one had multiple offers as well. Congratulations to Ken on Village Meadow Drive. And Russia, congratulations on her first sale. Coming back to Village, congratulations Russia on the closing of Vista Madeira. So again, great week for sales and closings. So congratulations to all of you. I think do you want to just talk about the training real quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tuesday at 10, I want to really encourage everybody who does anything with zip forms to jump on this training with Cindy Campbell. Her and I have been, as you know, Cindy's come on taking over the auditing of the files. And in case you didn't know, she's certified as a CAR trainer, and she knows her way around the CAR website and zip forms. And her and I have been working on her ideas for this class. And even though the title doesn't sound too exciting, I think it's going to be an amazing class. So I would, of course, all our new agents, please get on this. But everybody, this would be a great class to help you with your zip forms and your transactions. She's got a lot of really helpful tips. And then the DIRT meeting with Tim on Wednesday at 10. And then Luxury Portfolio at 1 o'clock on Wednesday has Getting to Know Lux Exchange, a guided tour. That would be a great, especially for our new agents. And then we have Ninja on Thursday at 10 o'clock. And then at 11 o'clock, this would be a great class. Again, this is put on by Zip Forms and RPR. For those of you who don't use RPR, it's a fabulous resource that we all have access to. And these are great tools. So I would really encourage you to sign up for that class as well.
Great, thank you.
Can I just throw something in on that RPR class, you guys? That
Sure.
the RPR really interfaces beautifully with our Zip platform. Therefore, if you're not familiar with RPR, go to narrpr.com and get yourself registered and set up. It's a mobile application on your phone, on your tablets, and on your home computer.
Perfect. Thank you, Cindy. Yeah, we need all the help we can get to get through this paperwork because it's becoming really, really crazy, more and more as we go. Okay, so let's just chat about multiple offers. You know what? First, I want to talk about the request for repairs really quick because that is attached to your agenda. So the reason I wanted to talk about the request for repairs, I'm sorry, it's the release, right?
Release,
in lieu of
yeah.
repairs, sorry. So the release in lieu of repairs kind of goes along with the RR. And the reason for that is when you look at the RR at the very bottom under the seller response. So let's say the buyer sends a request for repairs and then the seller has to respond to that, right? So the seller would respond with, he agrees to provide everything, and then he marks that the seller, then he hits the checkbox of the seller removes those contingencies identified on the attached contingency form, which must be signed by the buyer, and buyer releases seller and brokers from any loss, liability, expense, claim, or cause of action regarding the disclosed condition of the property. In parentheses, it says release. Well, what I've noticed is that box is rarely checked. So, because I think everyone thinks it has to go along with the seller agrees to all the buyer's requests. But actually, you can check that box and you can come down and say that seller does not agree to any of the buyer's requests, and you can say seller responds with an RRRRR. So if you don't check that box, then you don't have a release. So when you don't get the release, then you need to use the release in lieu of repairs. And this is a form that Mona did for us quite a few years ago. She's changed it up a couple of times, but it's basically the same form. And so many times, the buyer will ask for a credit instead, or the seller prefers to give a credit rather than to actually do the repairs. So the form is really pretty simple to fill out. I'm not going to go through all of that. If you have questions about it, you can always ask me or one of the managers. But after you've filled it out, it has a release here that Mona put together. It's a very non-threatening release, but it's a release. And the other reason that you would, so you should use that if for some reason you did not mark it on the RR when your seller returns it, returns an RRRR, or just signs it. Just make sure you check that box. The other reason that we put this together, and we'll just, let me see, I think I have it here in front of me. Yeah, so this is actually between the buyer and the seller. But if we give many times we are the ones that are giving money through escrow along with the buyer or the seller, or not the buyer typically, but with the seller. And sometimes it is even for our buyer. So if you can actually check the box describe agreement, and you can put in there that agents are contributing this amount of money, because when they sign it, it also releases Village Properties and the agents. So use it for if you're giving up money as well, because you really have no release when you're giving up some of your commission, or you're helping to pay for, the refrigerator that, broke at the last minute, or whatever it is. So just remember that those two forms kind of go hand in hand, and check it out. And then if you have any questions about it, let's, check with me or Bob or Natalie. And I think we can certainly help you get through any questions that you have with those two forms.
So Patricia asked if it's on our zip forms. Yes, it is. You need to select out of the libraries the Village Properties forms, and it'll be there. And it's also on the hub as well. So under forms and documents. So 2 locations you can get it from.
Okay. Any other questions on that? I don't want to get into a lot of detail. Okay, great. All right, so let's start talking about multiple offers. So there's a lot of things you can pull up on CAR in regards to multiple offers. And I found this question to be the most interesting. It's a Q&A, which we're happy to send you the links afterward if you want to go get into real detail about them. So the introduction to this particular presentation of offers of and having multiple offers is buyers agents are frequently concerned that an offer delivered to a listing agent has not been presented to the seller. I've heard that from several of you many times over the years. I just don't know if my offer was ever presented to the seller. This concern is especially present in hot markets or when listing agents are acting as dual agents. The residential purchase agreement provides one solution in which a listing agent has an opportunity to confirm presentation of the offer or have the seller reject the offer formally by initialing the bottom of the RPA. This, however, is not legally required. So I've gotten that question before. It's not legally required. So the first question on this Q&A, are there really listing agents who are intentionally not presenting offers? And their answer is yes, there are, unfortunately. So it goes on to say that, when that happens, there are mechanisms that you can use to find out if your offer was actually presented. So it says, the next question, is there a legal or ethical requirement that the seller initial the rejection? And we already know the answer to that is no. They do not have to. It shouldn't stop you from asking the agent to please have the seller initial it, that they did receive it, but that they're rejecting it, but they don't have to. So is there a legal or ethical requirement that the listing agent initial the presentation of the offer box? And the answer to that is legal requirement, no, but ethical requirement there is. So through December 31st of 2018, there was no ethical requirement for the listing agent to initial the presentation of offer box. But as of January of 2019, it is in the Code of Ethics. So I think that's good to know, that if the agent won't initial there or let you, or, and get that back to you for your client, that the offer was presented, you can let them know that it it is now in the Code of Ethics. It's Standard of Practice 1 through 7, and it was amended in January of 2019. So when you've got those multiple offers going, or you've sent a lowball offer in, and you can get your client to come in any better than that, and they don't want to deal with you, they just don't want to, then at least you can get the listing agent to verify that the offer was presented to the buyer, to the seller. Let's see. So that's there. I don't want to go through all of the MLS rules and things that are going on, but there's a lot of reasons, or a lot of other ways that ethical duties that we can put back on the agents. But again, we can't really force a seller to do any of that. You can take it, as they explain in here, you can take it a lot further. You can take it, if you want to really get into the legal part of it, because what they're saying is because the seller has put it into the MLS system, if it is in the MLS system, then the seller is actually agreeing to certain things. But that's, as CAR says, that is a long road for you to have to go down. And it's very difficult to get people to respond to that. So let me see. I want to get to the listing, to the the other thing I wanted to let you know, which you will see, there's a question, what are available options to ensure that the seller has seen the offer? There is actually a letter, and I didn't know about this. It's called the Demand That Offer Be Presented to Seller letter, and it's called the DPO, and it's in the CAR sample letter library. And they actually give you a sample of it at the end of this Q&A for you to read through. And so we'll send that to you. But again, that's kind of taking it, a step further, but it just depends on how upset your buyer is, and how much they want to know, and how much you want to know if you think that they haven't been treated fairly. So again, we're going to send you this one. This is it's a great Q&A. It has a lot of information, and it's you can read through it pretty quickly. So counter offers, and I'm just going over these real quickly, and then we'll open it up to discussion real quick. What is the difference between, now I think we all know this, the difference between a seller counter offer and a buyer counter offer? The seller counter offer actually has an extra withdrawal provision in it, and I think we all know that. If the seller sends out a counter offer to a buyer, but he hasn't received it back, and then another offer comes in and he is just blown away by that offer, if he signs that one first, then the counter offer that's out there is automatically voided. It's no longer valid. So I know we've had those arguments with agents who, well, wait a second, you countered us and now you're telling me it's sold. And it's even happened to some of us. So just so you know that, but that's a good one to obviously remember, especially if you're the one who has the counter offer and it's a hot property. You want to stay engaged, or get that tied up as quickly as possible. So how do you subsequently keep track of counter offers? And this is another question I get. So if you've got a lot of counter offers going, CAR suggests that obviously the seller would send the first counter offer out, whether it's multiple or it's not, and that seller should call it counter offer number 1. If you're sending back a counter offer, then you should also call that your buyer counter offer number 1, so that they're in so that they stay the same number, and then so on and so forth. So if you go back and forth 10 times, you're going to have 10 seller counter offers and 10 buyer counter offers, or maybe only 9 if the buyer finally signs or the seller finally signs. So just so you remember, that's their suggestion on that. So I think what we'll do is open it up to, I just wanted to give you a few ideas about the offer. A lot of these, as I read through them, don't have a lot to do with multiple counter offers. So so what I've seen, one thing I've seen, which I like a lot, is those of you that use the form where when you have a certain number of counter offers, and then you compare them, you do the comparison, and you just take each line of the contract, and here's the price, here's the days, close of escrow days, all of those important kind of terms as you go through. And it makes it just easier, I think, for everyone, especially for the seller, to sort of grasp what he's got in regards to his choices, and where he should go, and kind of where they usually gravitate to the price, right? And then after that, it's sort of like, then he goes to the terms. But anyway, I'm happy to see that when I see that more often lately. So thank you for using that. If you don't know what it's called, does somebody out there know what it's called that uses it? Anyway, we'll find it and send it to you. So anyway, so I would love to hear from any of you that might have some comments on your counter, how you're doing with your multiple offers and how you're handling them, whether you're representing the buyer or the seller, because I know it's frustrating for the agents that are working with buyers in a certain price range. Anything in the chat?
Ruth Ann just said she creates a spreadsheet and has the seller sign off on it. That way she has proof that all offers were presented.
That's great. That's a great one. Very good. Thank you, Ruth Ann, for that. So
I'll talk about multiple offers. So I think it's important to explain to the seller up front what their options are. So I explained that they could reject all the offers, they could accept one, or they could do a multiple counteroffer, and explain how multiple counteroffer works, because that's a new concept to a lot of sellers, and explain that if more than one buyer accepts a multiple counteroffer, it goes back into their court to decide excuse me, which ones they want to go with, or which one they want to go with. Explain the pros and the cons to it. The pro is oftentimes in multiple offers, people increase their offers even higher or better terms. The downside is I say you can anger your best buyer and they walk away because they don't feel like they're being treated fairly. So I think it's important to present a downside to it, because I think there is one. Explain that the terms don't need to be the same for each buyer. You could counter one at one price and one at another. What I generally do as far as what to counter on price, I advise the seller that we counter everybody at the highest number that we receive, and the one that made the highest offer, probably counter them with submit a highest and best. And I think that's about it.
Great, thank you, Bob. Let's see. Evie said if a buyer makes a counter and changes their mind and finds a new property. Oh, I missed that. Did you see that one, Leanne?
Yeah, she just said if a buyer makes a counter and changes their mind and finds a new property, can they cancel before expiring?
Okay.
The answer is yes, and they would just submit a withdraw of offer form, the WOO form, to withdraw their offer. If their offer's expired, they don't need to do that, but if they have a live counteroffer out there, either buyer or seller, they need to withdraw it.
Yeah, I think verbally works fine. You're right, Bob. You can verbally do it, but it is courtesy. That'd be a courteous way of doing it. Yeah. Yeah.
Cindy says that the form you were talking about is the summary of multiple offers, and it's in the form library, and it's the SUM-MO1.
Okay, thank you. So I guess what I'm seeing is a lot of agents a lot of you that are working with buyers, you know, are having some difficulty and you know, frustration in regards to you know, maybe making 5, 6, 7, 8 offers on properties and your buyer's not getting it. You know, I think that when that sort of thing happens, you know, sometimes it's better to sit back down with your buyer and talk about why that's happening. You know, I know a lot of well, I mean, Michelle Glass and I last week worked with. She had the offer. She has the listing. And it was interesting. The one of the buyers that brought an offer in had lost out on several properties, but you know, he I guess he was an engineer, and you know, hey, this is where I think the property is worth. And so I think he's that. I'm glad it's not one of your clients, but because I think he's gonna be, you know, he's probably going to be looking for quite some time until he finds, maybe when the market slows down, he'll be able to purchase. But, you know, I'm not sure. I mean, I was never that great at talking to those types of buyers myself. Does anybody have any suggestions on how to sit down and talk with a buyer like that who you know they want to purchase, and typically the other party, either the wife or the husband, you know, is interested in purchasing, and there's a lot of frustration that goes on, not only for the agent but also for them. And so it, you know, has anybody had a conversation with that type of a buyer that they have been successful on getting them to you know, understand what the market is like and make their move and go forward? Okay, so nobody's had any success with that one. All right, well, I guess we're going to have to get some people get some help in that direction, because I do think that those are the types that, you know, will kind of wear you down on trying to find them something when indeed they're not, you know, they just can't grasp what this market is all about, and that they have to step up and spend more money than maybe they thought they were going to have to. If they can't afford it, that's one thing. You know, you don't want to pressure anybody into that. But anyway, I again.
Sorry, I was going to say, Amy
Oh.
Abbott. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's Natalie. I was just going to say, I think those types of people, because I have a seller that is that way, not a buyer right now, they're all about statistics and numbers. And if you can tell a buyer or a seller, show them the statistics, show them what's going on. If they have a loan and they're waiting for a potential 5% correction or whatever, I just think it's educational to talk to them about what it's going to cost them potentially in the long run, and are they renting? And you know, there's just different approaches to different personalities, but I definitely think the engineer types and the real analytical people love the numbers and the statistics.
Good point. You're right, Natalie. Good. Thank you for that. Anyone else have any comments about multiple offers?
So Amy sent me a message privately and she says, backup offers are also a good solution. When I've presented that to sellers in a multiple offer situation, often they don't even know that is an option and they're happy to know about it.
Perfect. Thank you, Amy. That's great. Did you see Evie's? She
Yeah,
said,
you usually show the buyer, especially with these low interest rates, that a few thousand more, if they can afford it, does not increase payment that much. And then Molly said, our experience has been they have to lose a few deals in this market before they understand.
very good. All right. So I figured out you're happy to put your comments in the chat rather than unmute yourself. But thank you. I appreciate all those comments. And you know what? We'll send you these. And you all recall we had our conversation with Mona about escalation clauses. And you know, again, did we send a quick guide on that one? I don't recall if we did. If not, we'll send you the quick guide on escalation clauses as well. It's it really helps. It's again, it's not anything that CAR advocates. They really don't think it's a great idea, but and this quick guide is a good one for you to just read through. It's really, it's just the one page. So anyway, Jackie couldn't be at the meeting this morning, so she will email us our stats for the week. Is there anything else anyone would like to discuss before we say goodbye?
Patricia's asking, where is a good source for statistics? I failed at my attempt in Flex.
Oh, well, probably.
Can I share one statistics that I've been using in Flex that's been really helpful? Patricia is, and I've done this with both sellers and buyers, is if you run a search of like the price point they're looking in, or maybe they're looking in a specific school district, and run like the last 3 months of active listing or actives pending and closed. At the very top, there is a thing that says compare, and you can click that and it takes those listings and shows you average days on market, median sale price, list price to sale price ratio. And it's really good because you can, a lot of them right now, what I'm finding is the first 30 days, list sale to sale price is usually over 100%. So you've got, you know, list price and they're selling for more. Once they've been on the market for 30 to 60 days, that might go down to 97, 98%. That's been a really helpful one. So it's like you kind of run a search of what they're looking at, hit compare, and then you can pull up some really good numbers in there.
Okay.
I found that by accident.
Yeah. She said she's looking at the general market. That's something I'm sure Ani could help with those kinds of things as well. Yeah. Maybe we'll invite Ani to come to talk at a meeting and see if she can't help us with the stats. But thank you. That's great, Cara. That's great. I had no idea that you could do that. But
I totally found it by accident. I was doing those real estate reviews that we've been told Ninja, and so I'm like, what does this button do? And when I clicked it, I'm like, holy cow, this is great information for my seller. Their neighborhood is selling at 103% if something sells in the first 30 days on the market. So it was by accident.
Right. Yes. Yes. And let's see.
Yeah, Ed has a good point. Jennifer Lamert at Fidelity has great statistics. And I think they're very easy to understand, the graphs, and they're very visual.
Right, right. Okay, there you go. Call Jennifer.
And Cindy also says the CAR website as well has good statistics.
Right. All right, everyone. Anyone else? All right, well, thank you for being here. Thank you for a great meeting, and have a great week, everyone.
Thank you, Renee.
Thank you.
Thanks, Renee.
Bye.